on right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
This is For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health. 2 locations, Governor Square and Grand Harbor. Refill and transfer prescriptions online. Call 947-8900 or visit healthcarepharmacy.ky.
And UHealth, International University of Miami.
World-class healthcare in the heart of Miami.
The Light Room, your holistic sanctuary for physical and mental restoration, repair, and rejuvenation. The power that made the body heals the body. 38 Pasadena Place, Georgetown. Find us online at www.thelightroom.ky or call 938-HEAL.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Running on empty? Feeling depleted? Health and wellness comes down to one essential factor: energy at the cellular level. Our body is designed to support, repair, recover, and heal, but it needs the right environment. At the Lightroom, our energy enhancement system is that right environment, a balanced bioenergetic support for your body's natural processes. Don't wait until your energy is depleted. Recharge and keep optimized. Start today. The Lightroom, advanced energy therapies that work. We're in Pasadena Place.
When I first started going to Healthcare Pharmacy, it was because it was convenient. But over the years, I continued to shop there because I trusted them. One day I was picking up my prescription, and the pharmacist noticed an over-the-counter medication in my basket. She said, "I hope that's not yours. It will interact with your prescription." And I thought, wow, thank you. Trust is so important when it comes to your health. Healthcare Pharmacy with 2 locations, Grand Harbor and Governor Square, where they care about my health.
Hello and welcome to For the Health of It. I'm going to be talking to Christine Connor from Anytime Fitness. She's the owner, and Dr. Modine from
Hello.
Grand Harbor Medical Center. We're going to be talking about perimenopause. This stage of life, I remember it well. It was horrible. But Christine wants you to go through it thriving. Not like me, barely surviving. And wondering why I was gaining weight. I tell you, I had so much edge on me when I was going through menopause. So when I saw Christine and she said, I want people to thrive. I want to thrive. I want people to thrive. I said, oh my God, we got to have her on the program. She said she was talking to you. So that's why you're here.
Thank you.
Welcome to For the Health of It.
Thank you, Tara.
Before we got into the show, you all were saying, you know, my generation didn't want to talk about it. You couldn't even say, what was it with you?
You couldn't even mention the word pregnancy in my house, and
wow.
And I'm a doctor, so.
And with you,
and then with my parents' generation, with my mum, we were talking about this earlier. There's just the stigma behind just talking about women's health, and I think as women in general, we tend to just get on with things and not talk about things. So we're kind of making it our mission at the moment, right, to just have these conversations. And just why I said thriving is because what I've learned is actually you don't need to suffer through it, but we do need to have these conversations.
That's brilliant.
And yeah, as we were saying earlier, I feel I've only been here 2 years, and I think there's been a big difference. A big change has been made on the whole menopause scene. I think we've come leaps and bounds. I mean, I don't know anything prior to 2 years, but being here at 2 years, it was quite dismal. And then yesterday, I still get, as I was saying, a lady who comes in menopausal after she was 52 years old, and she's been perimenopausal since she was 33. So all those years, she's been suffering, and only because she thought that she couldn't have treatment until she was fully menopausal.
Oh, wow.
So,
that's sad.
Yeah. So it means there's a lot of work to still be done.
I do think, though, I mean, this is, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think even the word perimenopause didn't exist maybe when you were going through it, Tara, because I know with my mum it was like menopause. There was no peri. So that's kind of feel like
that's a good point, actually, because it's an interchangeable word. Even I feel like if I cut out the word perimenopause from my daily usage, I'd probably like decrease my vocabulary by about 25%. Right? But when I'm talking to women, I will, and you'll hear me talk about it and say it today. I always say perimenopause, menopause, because they are
two different stages.
Two different stages. Essentially, they're under the same umbrella, but there's a distinction between the two, a technical distinction, but a distinction.
You want to explain that because that's the first question.
Okay, that's the first question. Nicely done. So it's essentially about ovarian reserve. What that means is slowly the ovaries are starting to shut down. As they're shutting down, they're fluctuating. Your estrogen, progesterone levels are starting to fluctuate, and that's the perimenopause phase, where then because of the fluctuations, you experience the most common sort of side effects: erratic periods, brain fog, hot flushes, mood swings, anxiety, sleep issues, night sweats. I mean, the list, those are probably the most common ones. Always eager to get in that the mental health element is very real during the perimenopausal phase. It might be your only symptom. Never had anxiety before, but suddenly it's come out of nowhere, and you're in the right age bracket, then you need to rule out perimenopause before you start hitting those antidepressants, right? So the distinction between perimenopause and menopause is that menopause is when you've had no periods for 12 consecutive months, right? So no matter how scanty, how rare your periods are, if you've not had if you're still having them within a 12-month period, you're still considered perimenopausal, right? I.e. before menopause. And then menopause could just last a day if we talk about it, because then once you've had those 12 months of no periods, you go from being menopausal to postmenopausal, right? So, but essentially, it's as I was saying, it's all under the same umbrella. You're still having the same symptoms. For a lot of women, things don't change when they hit menopause. Some, the symptoms do sort of dampen down slightly, but a lot of them just experience the same thing and continue to do so. So
but it's not
words.
all doom and gloom.
No, not anymore. Not since we got here.
What age do you begin to experience menopause?
Okay, so the doctor in me will tell you statistically, 45 is the most common age of perimenopause, and 51 is the statistical age where women would hit menopause. However, that's what the books will tell you, right? And the books have to have some sort of number, and usually statistics or where they come from. But in reality, as I said, there's this lady who came in yesterday. Hers started at 33. I have, I think, a 32-year-old as the youngest. Right? So we know that now the books will say mid-30s onwards. Right? So it's more about what you're experiencing it rather than the time frame. I know I've had female patients who've come in who have quite obvious perimenopausal symptoms, which are the erratic periods, the hot flushes, the labile mood, the anxiety, brain fog, itchy skin, hair thinning, that difficult to shift fat around the midsection usually, urinary symptoms, bladder control, low libido. Last time I came up with about 36 different symptoms.
And I think, sorry, just to jump in, I think that for me, when I first met Dr. MEBEEM was something that was quite eye-opening, because I think what we hear from like the media and social media is the hot flashes. We hear about that. We hear weight gain. But all of the other stuff we don't really hear about until recently. Brain fog is like a now hot topic. But I remember you saying itchy ear canal, and I was like, what? and then some other things that we might not even assume are hormonal. We might just assume, another one for me was frozen shoulder.
Frozen shoulder.
I hear that a lot because obviously women in the gym, and frozen shoulder is a huge symptom of perimenopause.
Wow.
Now, why would you ever connect the two? If you're not in the medical field, I would be like, oh, maybe I injured it doing something. And so there's a lot of symptoms that we just don't necessarily assume are connected to our hormones.
Exactly.
Which was interesting to me.
Yeah. Again, I mean, I will use lots of examples because, that's what we are at the end of the day, examples for each other. I had a lady who came in with a sinusitis after having a cold, nasal symptoms. And sometimes because the fluid can travel into the ears, I asked her, do you have any pain in your ears? And she said, no, but what I have had for the last year is very itchy ear canals. And that was it. And then I was like, okay. So then this conversation, she'd come in for a blocked nose and sinus problems, went down a menopausal route. And I saw her a couple of days ago. And she had 0 estrogen and 0 testosterone, and she'd just been running on fumes for about 7 years. But she had no idea that she was actually perimenopausal.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think another thing that I recently, we spoke about, I recently figured out was there's actually no test to diagnose perimenopause. And that's the thing, right? If there's no test, why, I'll let you explain a bit more on this, but I was like, is there a test for perimenopause? And there isn't. So there's a lot of process of elimination.
And that's what it comes down to. We have to rule out other things that could cause very similar symptoms, especially if you're younger, right? We want to make sure it's not a thyroid problem. B12 folate deficiency, for instance, can also give you brain fog. Iron deficiency, very similar symptoms. You've got to look at your testosterone and your estrogen, your things like your FSH, your LH. These will give us an idea of what's going on. But then things like your prolactin. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that can mimic the symptoms.
Question. I read this because I went through perimenopause and I kept going to the doctor for them to measure me, and they said, well, you're
normal,
right?
Normal.
Yeah.
Oh, we love this one.
Yeah.
I read Suzanne Summers' book, and I got an idea. If 19-year-olds or 18-year-olds, whatever age, we should start testing women's estrogen and their hormonal levels, testosterone, their
prolactin.
No.
Or progesterone?
Progesterone, yeah, because I was really low on that for my sleep. But then I also learned that it changes every day, right?
Right. It fluctuates hour to hour.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why there's no specific test that will tell us that you're in perimenopause. You could have, the flip side to that would be you could have no symptoms at all, be 48, 49 years old, and we do a test and it comes back and it shows that your estrogen levels are extremely low. What do you do then? Do you treat? No, because then you're just treating the numbers. The way I was trained, you treat the patient in front of you, treating the person in front of you. If they come in and they say they've got symptoms, you have to believe them. And this goes back to what you were saying earlier. If you're told your numbers are normal, right, but you don't feel normal, one of you two is wrong, right?
And I know not me. Yeah. I just felt like I was being gaslit. Yeah. Oh my God.
Medical gaslighting in women's health in general for a long time, but especially in the menopause field, because initially nobody cared about it. Right, let's be honest. If we go far back enough, nobody really cares.
You're saying all the things I thought.
we just said this. We just said this the other day. I said I feel like the medical industry has failed women so much, and we looked at some statistics, and it was like 50 million women basically were not treated with HRT. For many misdiagnosis, put on depression, anxiety medication. 50 million women. I mean, if that's not a
whole
failure.
Generation worldwide.
Worldwide,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
so sad.
It is, because it affected me deeply. I mean, I was thankfully I had a lot of tools in my toolkit and knew where to go. And I started the gym, working out, got rid of the energy, the rage.
Right.
I needed sleep, so I went to yoga and meditated, and that helped. but the anxiety
Right.
stayed. It's
Yeah.
still here.
And maybe those, it sounds sad now, but maybe those 50 million women needed to suffer, so the next few generations didn't have to.
Yeah.
So your rage, the rage of 50 million women has now
That's
been
why I'm on a
focused,
on a mission
laser
now.
focused
Yeah.
into Christine.
I'm really happy that you are, because you have a following. You're a successful business woman owner,
Thank
not
you.
just a business owner, but a woman. And then you look like a model.
Oh.
So
Makeup Tara.
and you have a child, so
I do.
you do have someone people can relate to, with those things.
But I also, exactly what you just said, which why I said normal, that was my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. MUBEEM knows this. He was not the first doctor I went to. I went to quite a few doctors on Ireland first. And because like you said, I know me. I'm someone that's always taken care of myself, my body, my mind, everything else. And I went to, how many did we say? Four different doctors. Yeah. And my results were normal. Yeah. I was normal. And I said, but I don't feel normal. I've gained weight in the last 12 months. And I'm doing everything that I've been doing, for the last 22 years in this industry, but things are changing.
Yeah.
And so then I went to Dr. MUBEEM, and the first thing, the light bulb moment, he was like, but how do you feel?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yes, somebody's listening.
Yeah.
I'm not going crazy. And that was kind of where it started. And then, oh gosh, we can deep dive into this, but I did the same lab results with Dr. MUBEEM, and yes, estrogen levels and everything was normal. But for me, testosterone was like on the ground.
Yeah, it was extremely.
And this had came up with another doctor, and I was told that, oh, you don't need testosterone as a woman. Mm-hmm. So obviously me in the fitness industry, I was like, I'm very aware that we do need testosterone. But I said to Dr. MUBEEM, I said, you know how sad is that if a regular woman, if my mum, I always think of my mum because she suffered through this stage in her life. And I'm like, she would have believed that doctor because she knew no better.
Yeah. True.
So that's another mission I'm on about testosterone.
Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's sort of that's the accountability. That's the power doctors can hold, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell people that you don't need this, or as my mum was told, HRT will give you cancer.
Yeah, that's
right?
what I was told.
Yeah. So that's that generation.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, there was no knowledge about HRT, or perimenopause and menopause, or nobody really cared to look into it. Mm-hmm. And then when they did, somebody thought, okay, it's an estrogen, progesterone, testosterone problem. Let's replace them. Mm-hmm. The best technology they had at the time wasn't great. The research wasn't great. And then the media got a hold of it, and then we got the estrogen and progesterone, HRT will give you cancer scare. Mm-hmm. So then there was this whole new phase where women now knew what perimenopause was, but they couldn't
they were so afraid to take
afraid of the treatment. Exactly.
Yeah, they thought they were going to get horse hormones, right?
Right. Well, there was that, but for my mum, and I always tell this story, is that I would find her around the house and she would be crying and sweating, and she would tell me that she was losing her mind because her father had Alzheimer's and would go missing and then eventually died with it. So she thought she was developing Alzheimer's. And then when I went into medical school, I heard about menopause, and I go, Mum, you've got menopause, you're perimenopausal, and there's treatment for it, and you just go ask your doctor for HRT. And so she did, and her doctor told her quite simply, that will give you cancer.
Yes.
And so to this day, she still has hot flashes, poor sleep, brain fog. She won't even look at it.
Wow.
HRT, just
to this day.
To this day, and she's at 70 now.
Yeah, because that generation in itself is very doctor authoritative, compliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I found a woman doctor, who she replaced my hormones, and I was able to sleep because I was almost getting ready to check into
psychiatric.
Well, for sleep.
It's awful.
I had
sleep
insomnia.
deprivation.
Okay.
I couldn't sleep for nearly a week.
Wow.
Right? I was just getting like 1 hour sleep, and I was becoming like,
It destroys you. It destroys you, yeah.
I had my head in the freezer for hot flashes. My ears would get so red. Oh my gosh. But anyway, so let's get back to the questions.
I just remember growing up, and to this day, like sitting around every now and again, my mum's fan would come out. She'd just pick up the nearest magazine and start fanning herself randomly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what hormone changes occur during this transition?
Everything. I mean, the main ones would be estrogen, progesterone. Okay, and I mean, testosterone plays a part, but it doesn't really occur during the perimenopause phase. It occurs way before then. Right? So men and women tend to lose testosterone much earlier, about the same time, from about early 30s onwards.
Mm-hmm.
But for men and women, if it was just testosterone, it'd just be a slow decline into the 45, 50. But then women have that extra whammy, bang, in the middle somewhere, they get hit by the drop-off in estrogen and progesterone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually when we pick up that, you're perimenopausal and you've got low testosterone. Right.
Okay.
But essentially, for the purpose of perimenopause, it's estrogen and progesterone, and they both sort of follow each other.
So quickly, just explain what those three hormones do.
Okay.
So that we can get out.
That would probably be a whole show on its own.
I know.
But estrogen for women does almost everything. Anything you feel when you're perimenopausal, the brain fog, the anxiety, the bladder function, palpitations, dry skin, joint pains, that's all because your estrogen levels are dropping. So if we reverse engineer that, it actually affects and keeps alive, your brain, the laxity in the tendons in your joints, the sphincters of the bladder, the heart, the stomach.
We have the estrogen receptors all over our body.
All over
and that's
your
something
body.
I just recently learned too, because, sorry to interrupt you,
That's
but something that I hear from women a lot, they just connect hormones with our cycle, our menstrual cycle.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually so much more than that.
It is.
The receptors
Yeah.
are, as you say,
Yeah.
it's right throughout our body.
Everywhere.
Nervous system.
Yeah. Your brain,
everything.
even in the skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything that helps you function, your metabolism, all of it, everything's affected by estrogen. Main thing, progesterone really, it does a lot of things. It can help regulate the estrogen, but its main purpose is to protect your lining of the uterus. Right? It stops it from thickening too much, because if it thickens too much, which it can do under estrogen alone, then there's a risk of endometrial cancer. So there's this balance going on. And testosterone in women, more or less the same effect as men. Libido is probably at the top of the list, followed closely by muscle health, brain health, bone health, energy, all the good stuff.
Okay.
That was a big one for me when we, because that's the first thing we looked at, because that's what I was deficient in or low on. And we just introduced testosterone. And I came back like a month later and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like a different person. And Dr. Moon's like, you look different.
Yeah.
And it was from an energy, and it sounds really strange, I remember saying this to you, but just from a motivation standpoint. Like I just had a bit more like oomph in me. I felt a bit more like myself. So then that in itself makes you want to work out more. And because for me, I was really frustrated, because I'm like, I'm supposed to be an advocate for women and I don't want to go and work out. And then, or I'm gaining weight and I don't like how this feels, because I'm supposed to be the example, but I just didn't have it in me.
Yeah.
And I thought for the longest time, maybe this is just age. And then I decided I'm not going to
I'm not going to blame
age. But the testosterone really helped with just giving me that bit of oomph and drive and energy.
Cool. We already went through what most women experience. But why does it fluctuate? Like today, I could have rage, and tomorrow it's the itching, or the brain fog, or God, the hot flashes.
Right. Why does it fluctuate? And nobody actually knows. There's lots of theories, but essentially the ovaries, as they slowly shut down, different parts of the ovary are still releasing estrogen. So your body and the brain and the estrogen link, the brain is still firing messages at the ovaries and saying, come on, you got to keep going, and this is the case with any hormone. We could talk about the thyroid, we could talk about testosterone in men. This is what you see this fluctuation as things start to, for use of a better word, shut down, right? And it's those last throes of life, if you will. There's a downward trend, everything's declining, but as it does so, it spasms as it goes along, right? So you're getting these spurts of estrogen or testosterone or thyroid, whichever gland we're looking at.
Okay. We're at our final question for part 1.
Okay.
When should a woman seek medical advice?
Okay. That's a good question. I used to say, if your periods are starting to become erratic, or if you're starting to feel hot flashes, or if you've suddenly got a new mood issue, low mood or anxiety, and any of these things, as soon as you start to feel them, that's the time to come in and have a chat. And that's probably the time to start treatment, because the sooner you treat yourself, the better you'll feel for the longer time. I've changed that answer now. Right. And now the answer is really simple. And this goes on what every woman has said to me when they come in. I no longer feel like myself. The moment you no longer feel like yourself, something's wrong. Last week, I was fine. This week, this month, I'm not the same person. That's the one thing every woman has come in and said, I no longer feel like myself. So
wow.
That in itself, we should classify as a symptom. That's what if you get to that, if you're feeling like that, come in.
I'm gonna throw it at Christine. What made you go to Dr. MUBEEM? Because you had gone 4 doctors.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd never asked that either, actually. That's a good question.
Well, my friend had actually been to Dr. MUBEEM. So that was actually how I ended up initially going there. Why I stuck to Dr. MUBEEM was because I felt like me again.
And he listened.
He asked me the questions, and just kind of piggyback on that. When I went in, I was not at the typical, you have to be 45. I'm not 45 yet, but I am somebody that, I'm trying to be preventative, and I didn't feel like myself, but everything was normal on paper. And Dr. MUBEEM was the only doctor that actually listened to me and said, hey, let's try some things out here. Okay. And I felt like myself again.
Wonderful. So thank you, Christine Connor from Anytime Fitness and Dr. MUBEEM from Grand Harbor Medical Center.
You're welcome.
For being on for the health of it. You'll be doing part 2.
Okay.
So thank you so much for being on the show.
Running on empty? Feeling depleted? Health and wellness comes down to one essential factor: energy at the cellular level. Our body is designed to support, repair, recover, and heal, but it needs the right environment. At the Lightroom, our energy enhancement system is that right environment, a balanced bioenergetic support for your body's natural processes. Don't wait until your energy is depleted. Recharge and keep optimized. Start today. The Lightroom, advanced energy therapies that work. We're in Pasadora Place.
When I first started going to healthcare pharmacy, it was because it was convenient. But over the years, I continued to shop there because I trusted them. One day I was picking up my prescription, and the pharmacist noticed an over-the-counter medication in my basket. She said, "I hope that's not yours. It will interact with your prescription." And I thought, wow, thank you. Trust is so important when it comes to your health. Healthcare Pharmacy with 2 locations, Grand Harbor and Governor Square, where they care about my health.
This is For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health. 2 locations, Governor Square and Grand Harbor. Refill and transfer prescriptions online. Call 947-8900 or visit healthcarepharmacy.ky.
And UHealth, International University of Miami.
World-class healthcare in the heart of Miami.
The Light Room, your holistic sanctuary for physical and mental restoration, repair, and rejuvenation. The power that made the body heals the body. 38 Pasadora Place, Georgetown. Find us online at www.thelightroom.ky or call 938-HEAL.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Yesterday,
Today,
always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.